one of the bigger insights that I think we've had ever in entrepreneurship. What we teach in business school is essentially execution. And I don't mean that's all we teach, but if you really think about the tools, the strategies, etc., they're about how to do something repeatably well. The mistake we made in Silicon Valley was taking those execution tools. What's an execution tool? Writing a business plan. It's an operating document. It's not a planning document. It's an operating document. It says, we know all this stuff. If you write it down and I approve it, that's what you're going to go do. We now know that before you do that document, you need to get out and search for this stuff, or else the document is just kind of like a theoretical exercise. My students in any of those schools I teach at could sit in the library a weekend and BS their way through a great business plan. But what you can't BS through is getting out of the building and talking to hundreds of customers. You can't fake that in a weekend. So what you really need to do before the plan is actually some planning. What we used to do for execution is think that the first thing you needed to do is hire product managers and go into waterfall engineering, spec the product, and then go build it because it said so in the plan. The reality is, no, you don't. What you really need to do first is have a customer development process and talk to customers and do agile engineering and build the product iteratively and incrementally. Is we used to say, let's go hire people and build an org chart. I'm going to hire a head of sales and a head of marketing, a head of biz dev. Why? Because that's what I need to do to execute. That's what big companies do, right? So they have sales departments and marketing and biz dev. Well, of course you need to do that, but not yet. And that's really a great mistake, because if you think about it, you staff an entire sales force, and yet you don't have the strategy in place. Yet you got this huge burn rate, or you hire marketing and you're running marketing campaigns or AdWord campaigns, and you have no idea why it is you're doing that, other than you had a plan that said that. What we're really suggesting is before you hire all those people, you want a customer development team driven by the founders. The founders, before they hire sales, marketing, or biz dev, really need to understand what is it that works and doesn't. And when they do understand what works and why, that's the gate that says, yes, now you could hire sales, marketing, and biz dev. You know, I just had, I was teaching in Columbia in New York, and Fred Wilson, Union Square Ventures, one of the VCs I love on the East Coast, came in the class, and he got asked almost that exact same question as, gee, you know, how many times do you expect us to pivot when, you know, after you funded us? And Fred's answer was kind of interesting. He said, essentially, and I hope I'm getting it right, I'm assuming you're done pivoting by the time I'm funding you, which is very interesting, which said to me is, listen, you know, go do this on your own nickel and search, and when you come to me, you know, I could help you with lots of stuff, but hopefully it's mostly execution to scale. And so what I think it just reminds me is there are different venture capitalists that are happy to deal with different parts of the process. Some like the 500 Startups guys, Dave McClure, you know, happy to fund you very early on, and you're going to be learning as you go. The Instagram story was wonderful, because if you read Ben Horowitz's description, they funded them when they were doing X, and they truly pivoted into something else. This Twitter story, you know, was ODO and turned into Twitter as a pivot. But some VCs will be happy to fund you while you're doing that search, and some VCs are happy to fund you for scale and for growth. And so the question the entrepreneur needs to ask, it's a fair question the investor, is how happy are you when I'm still learning and searching, or do you want me to come in with a certain predictable, you know, I've done this on someone else's nickel? It's a fair set of questions. And I can't answer that. I think the right question is you just simply ask the VC you're talking to.